Hi, this is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle. We're continuing on our projects, and this one is a viewer request. They tell me that they're having a struggle with getting the bail spring to set on this. I guess they've taken it apart or it's failed, and it's not tripping. And they had asked me if I could just kind of do a close-up of how that's done. So for those of you that have the Mitchell 308, or the 408, or the 309, or the 409, this should apply to you. Just thinking the odd number, the 09 series, is going to be coming from the other direction, as that one spins with the right-handed crank as opposed to a left-handed crank. Okay, this is your basic setup. You have what I call a dead end that's screwed in on this side. You have the bail spring and the bail arm on this side. And then you have the trip lever mechanism, which is underneath here. And that's another story for another day, I guess. Josh has sent me in a 309, but we're having trouble with the actual screw tap hole there. Somebody broke off the screw inside. We're waiting on a tap to see if we can't retap that and get a screw in there. But I wanted to take a moment. We'll do this video to show how that's done, and we'll also take a moment to thank our first responders, essential employees, and our frontline heroes, the folks that are trying to keep us safe during this pandemic. Okay, so when I work on this, I like to take the rotor off completely. It's just unwieldy as you try to do something and have that rotor spinning around because it's on the axis point there. To remove the rotor, there's a set screw underneath here. I've partially started that already, but you just want to get a small screwdriver. Hopefully I'm showing it to you. It's right on the collar here. And I should be able to take this rotor off without taking the internals out. We'll see how it meshes up. But there's a set screw, and it's a long one, so don't think if you partially back it out that you're okay. It really has to be removed completely. That smooth part of the shaft is actually what's holding the rotor cup in place. So I'm going to put that into a parts tray. And yep, I'm not wearing my glove today. I need a little bit more feel when I go and do this spring set here. All right, so I've pulled the rotor off. This is a partial reel, but pulled the rotor off. Don't go messing around if you don't need to with this bearing cup here. If you try to unscrew this and pull this bearing cup out, well, you may be all over the place in terms of the little bearings. It's just an odd design for the bearing. So let's just take this apart. We'll try and replicate where this individual is, and then we'll try and put it back to him or help him get it back together again, so that if he has this reel, that I can go fishing, have a second chance there. All right, this is what I call the dead end. It's simply the screw, and it's a loop on the bail that just rides over a little cup or a stud. I guess that's the cup side, that's the stud side, and it just screws in there. So on this side then, notice before you even start playing around with taking the bail off that there is a slot in here. You can see it on the one side. Just check your bail, find out where that slot is. That's where the flat or the 90-degree angle part of the spring is going to sit, so you do need to know that it goes in there. All right, we'll just remove the spring then. And folks ask me why, when I service a reel, I don't generally take the bail assembly off, and the answer is it doesn't need to be removed. It's only a spring, and unless you're having trouble with that bail assembly, I generally don't recommend taking it off because, well, I get questions all the time about how do I put it back on. Those springs do tend to be a little bit funky. All right, so that's your bail. And you can see how that one angle is nestled into into that little cavity there. And you can see that the flat side is sticking out. And this is what I call at rest. So let's take this out, and you can see it better. So there's a straight arm or tag end that's going to go into the cavity. And then there's this 90-degree angle that's going to go into the bail arm itself. All right, so let's just seat that. Sometimes on these Mitchell reels, you're going to see that there's a slot on both sides. That's because they use the same rotor cup for the left and the right side. They just mount the spring on the opposite side. So on the 309, you may have the slot on this side as opposed to that side. Just pay attention to where it is because that's how you're going to seat the first part of the spring. So we'll go ahead and put that back in there. Just like that. And now you'll notice where that tag end is, and you'll notice where the hole is in this one. I don't know, hopefully we're going to be able to point that out, but that's your tag end right there. And you want to put that 90-degree angle tag in there. So I just like to line it up by eye with that in the cup. It makes it a little bit easier. I probably am doing this off camera. Okay, so you're in a relaxed position now. You have the spring in the hole, and all you want to do is just pull this tab back a little bit and push down so that you can mount the screw. It takes a little bit of a balancing act. Not always easy to do. But you'll just get enough of it going that you can work this around and get that set over the stud. You're working with that little stud in the back there. It needs to clear that shoulder. Once you do that, then you can just simply tighten this down. And this has got a collar on it, so sometimes you got to wiggle it just a little bit to get it to seat properly in one direction or the other before you can complete the nesting of it. There we go. Okay, so let's just review what we did. We had this thing backed all the way off. We pressed down in the relaxed position until we lined up the holes. We started the screw, and then we cleared the shoulder. Only a turn or two. We cleared the shoulder to make sure that we got that stud on this side of the holder. Now we've got a bail that's got the spring working. So to complete the project, then you come back to the other side and you put that cup over the stud. Tighten the screw down. Again, give it a trip or two. There you go, we've got it working. And so what will happen is you'll come over here, and then this inner piece is going to, this fire here, got a little claw, it's going to fire and shut that down. To complete the project then, it's very simple. You just go ahead, put the cup back on, put the screw back in, and job done. So I hope you've enjoyed this. If you have a question like that, please leave it in the comments. I hope this helps in terms of those of you that need to figure out how to reset that spring on the Mitchell 308 bail. And I hope everybody has a great day. This is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle. Thank you for watching.